It's the Mustang Insider Show presented by Cal Portland, the largest building. Now, here's Chris Sylvester, the voice of the Mustangs.
We welcome you to another edition of the Mustang Insider. We're talking all things Cal Poly athletics, and we've got the season in full swing. Men's soccer kicked off their home schedule last week. Football kicked off their home schedule last week. And finally, women's soccer will kick off the home schedule this week. Alex Crozier is the head coach of the Mustangs, and they've already been battle-tested here early in the season. They went down to top-ranked UCLA, gave the Bruins everything they could handle, got a nice road win at LMU, got a tough draw on the road in the Mountain West at Fresno State, and most recently played at Cal over the weekend. Coach, 32nd year at the helm of this program. Does that kind of feel surreal when I say that, or is it just kind of business as usual here in 2023?
Well, it's I don't think about it often. So now that you say it, it does sound like a long time, but and it has been. But every year is a different challenge. So it's like I'm starting over every year.
Obviously, there have been ebbs and flows, right, within the 32-year stretch. You've had some really good seasons. You've had some seasons where you felt like you could have won some more games. Where does this era of Cal Poly women's soccer sit in your 32-year tenure? Because you guys won the Big West last year. You started to see this program take steps towards that championship, top of the Big West caliber direction a few years ago. And this team, obviously, with all the preseason love, they appear to be a team very capable of winning another conference championship this year. So how did you get this program, 3+ decades into the job, kind of back to the top of the Big West and being one of the best programs out of this conference?
Well, it's it's been quite a journey, and I think over the years it ebbs and flows. I mean, you have good years, you have years that are off, and you learn from all those. I think our last 3 or 4 years, we basically changed how we train the team, and really it was a trip to Spain to study under the son-in-law of Johan Cruyff. That helped me realize that we should be looking at things a little differently here. And so we train actually different than probably 90% of the college soccer. And it's, it's all about managing space rather than chasing a ball. And within those things, making decisions, and the players are basically, it's a player's game. And so we give them the tools they need in training to make decisions in the game, and hopefully that pays off. So it's been like a 3 or 4 year transition, but I think the players that we're bringing in now and the ones that have returned are getting better and better every year, and we're seeing that in our play.
Yeah, I do want to touch on that. You've got 15 returners from last season's Big West Championship squad. You've also got 15 newcomers, a mix of freshmen and transfers that have joined your program for this 2023 season. You're officially 4 matches into this campaign. You had a couple of exhibitions against San Jose State, Cal State, Monterey Bay. Kind of weird how the scheduling worked out, right? I mean, you have an exhibition, you have your first regular season match on the road, and then you play another exhibition game before you get ready for top-ranked UCLA. And I want to get your thoughts on that as well, because you nearly drew or took down the top team in the country late last month. But 4 matches into the regular season, so to speak, and you're getting ready to open up the home schedule. 2 ranked teams are coming to town this week. Where would you say this 2023 squad is, progress-wise, compared to where last year's team was about 4 games into the season?
So I think we're ahead of the game. We're playing with a good rhythm. We don't have the results to back that up, but we've been playing some really good teams, but we've been getting better. And against those top 10 teams in the past, we've approached those. We haven't approached them, but the players have played a little bit tentative and a little scared. So I think we're over that. So we're going out and we're just playing, and we saw that against UCLA, and we saw that more in the second half against Cal, where we just went out and played, and we do good things. So soccer is a game where it's one break here, one break there, and that can determine the game. And those are moments that have been happening, but I think we're on the right track. It's a good group. We're still trying to get a good rhythm, great rhythm, and sort out a couple places on the field as well.
Is it intentional to kind of load up the pre-Big West schedule like this? I mean, like I mentioned, top-ranked UCLA, Fresno State on the road, LMU, Cal on the road, Portland on the road. You've always got that yearly non-Big West match, either home or away against Santa Barbara for the Blue-Green rivalry. And then you've got Gonzaga, 23rd in the country, rolling in this week, along with Santa Clara, a team that won a national title just a few years ago, 8th in the country as it stands on Sunday to close out this opening homestand of 2023. Have you kind of learned throughout your years, your decades at the helm, that maybe beefing up the non-conference schedule will make you better off come the Big West?
Yeah, it's it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And we have historically, record-wise, kind of chipped away at wins, losses, but the players enjoy playing good competition, and it's only going to make you better. And if we can knock off a couple of those along the way, then even better. But the goal is to get ready for conference, and we have Santa Barbara coming up, our opening conference game a week from Thursday. Well, a week from tomorrow. So we need to get ready for that. So these games help prepare us for that.
How much better do you feel about your defense coming into a year like this, because you return the Big West goalkeeper of the year, Mackenzie Samuel? We saw her skill set on display already early this season, taking home Big West Keeper of the Week honors earlier in this 2023 campaign already. How much more stress-free does it make your job as a head coach when you go through the long off season, kind of resting your head every night, knowing that, hey, you don't have to worry about keeper? I mean, that has to be a nice luxury to kind of have here with Samuel coming back.
Well, I don't know if there's anything that's stress-free, but yeah, Mackenzie's been solid in goal. She's, like I tell people, she makes the saves she should. She makes some she shouldn't, and she's very good with the ball. So she's been consistent for us. Right behind her we have Riley, who's been phenomenal and just waiting for her time here. But so those two together make each other better. And then our back line, they're familiar with each other. So I don't know that ever rest easy, but I feel good with the backs and the keeper that we have right now.
As far as Samuel goes, what's been the biggest key in her development since she got to campus? I mean, she was all Big West a couple years ago, keeper of the year, as we mentioned, as a sophomore last year. And now in a junior season, she's got a chance to be better than the last 2 years combined. Was this just somebody that you recruited and thought, hey, she's going to come in here and contribute and be effective for me right away? Or did you kind of feel like some things had to develop in her game to be able to be as dominant as she has been keeping for you guys?
Well, it's interesting recruiting wise. You're never really sure what you have until they show up and start playing, because you get snapshots of watching them play with their club, high school, you meet them, and those kinds of things. So we never really know what we're getting. But her freshman year was pretty clear early on that our team played better when she was in goal. So she pretty much got the start right away. Did we anticipate that? No. But every year someone comes in and pleasantly surprises us. And so, we always assume that players are going to come in and make an impact. Whether they do or not is really up to them. And she was one that made an impact right away.
Well, she's one of your 15 returners from last season. You've got 12 freshmen that are new to the program here in 2023, a few transfers as well. So it's an even split. I mean, 30 on the roster, 15 are new, 15 are experienced and have played under you for at least a season before. Do you kind of like how it's split in that way, so the returners can kind of play a leadership role for the freshmen and kind of get them comfortable with your culture that you've established here at Cal Poly?
Well, I think, we demand a lot of our returners, especially our seniors, to really help bring the freshmen along and the newcomers. So it's good that we have this, culture that we've created, but it could slip in a heartbeat. So there's a lot of managing that, especially with a roster our size. But our returning players have done a very good job, I think, of bringing players in and helping them be part of it and figure this whole thing out, because it's a challenge. I mean, all the newcomers come in and they've been the best players on their team and played 90 minutes every game. And then when that doesn't happen right away, there's some frustration. So it's helping them manage that and just realize that, hey, this is another level. and we're going to have to work pretty hard to get us up to speed.
Talking Cal Poly women's soccer with the head coach, Alex Crozier, in his 32nd season at the helm. The Mustangs are getting ready to open up the home schedule at Mustang Memorial Field Thursday, September 7th, 7 p.m. If you can't make it out, we'll have it for you on ESPN Plus. And it's a 23rd ranked Gonzaga, followed by 8th ranked Santa Clara. And before we dive into kind of previewing those matches, Coach, I want to get your thoughts on that match at top-ranked UCLA. I know it's a few matches ago at this point. You bounced back very quickly, went all the way back to LA just a few days later, and you blanked LMU 2-0. And you've also faced another Pac-12 opponent since then. But that was a 1-1 going into the late 80s. When you look at the minutes on the scoreboard, what did you feel about your team's fight in that game and the ability? As we've seen a couple Big West teams do, right? The last few years, UC Irvine has gone to UCLA and won in the postseason, and I think they did it again this past year and made some noise in the tournament. How much does a near victory like that, and I know you're all about the wins and losses at the end of the day, but how much does a near victory like that give your team confidence moving forward should you reach the postseason and maybe see a program the caliber of UCLA or Stanford in a win-or-go-home scenario?
Yeah, well, I think, the takeaway from that game was that our players did a very good job of digging in. And, it's one of those things. So we ended up playing a woman down for the last 35 minutes. One of our players got a second yellow, was out. So we had tied the game up, had some chances. UCLA, now they're very athletic all over the place. But so we played a man down, and we dug in, and we really didn't give them many chances. And we had a couple counters to where maybe we could have, taken a lead. So at that point, it's not a game necessarily playing a man that we should have won, but we could have. And then, the penalty kick with a minute to go is what it is. But our team battled, and I think they felt good about their performance.
Is what it is. That's a good way to put it. And as you look ahead now, Gonzaga comes to town, 23rd ranked team in the country. You've already seen a West Coast Conference school in LMU. You'll see another couple with Pacific coming to town and heading to Portland later in the month. How big would it be for your program and your team to open up the home schedule with a victory against a ranked opponent?
Well, it'd be huge. I mean, it's just going to be nice to play at home. We love playing in our stadium. We get good crowds, playing at night. And, I think we're close to just busting loose. And so Thursday night would be a great time to do that.
You look at the body of work that Gonzaga's put together, and they score. They have moved the net a whole lot here. They scored 7 goals against the Big West program, Hawaii, in what appeared to be a shootout. 7-5 was the final in that match. They also won a match 9-2 over Weber State, 3-0 over Oklahoma, 3-0 most recently against Utah Tech. This is a team. They are for real, and they will beat you if you make mistakes. What's the biggest key in trying to maybe limit them offensively and not let them put those gaudy numbers in the scoring column?
Well, I think, they're a very attack-minded team, and they're very good at finishing their chances. So we played them last year at their place, and, we were under the gun first half and finally realized that, we needed to step up and press a little higher. So I think if we can put them under good pressure, we can win balls higher up the field and really kind of reduce their amount of chances in front of goal. So that's going to be what we're looking to do.
Now, Gonzaga followed by Santa Clara, but beyond the game itself, Thursday night is also ALS awareness night for your program. The team's going to be volunteering at the event, the Central Coast Ride and Rally to Defeat ALS. Talk to me a little bit about how you guys got involved with this, because I know there are some tie-ins with this to your program and a couple of your players.
Yeah, so a couple of their former players now, but the Demijohn sisters, the oldest one, when she started here as a freshman, her dad was diagnosed with ALS and ended up living for another 4.5, 5 years. But we kind of watched that unfold. And then, we had the other sister, both of them here. And just watching that go and how that happened, it was like, we need to do something to help out. And then beyond that, Katie Kennedy, who is helped organizing this event, a really good friend of mine, and her brother passed away from ALS as well. So she had been doing the events up in Napa, and they've since kind of moved Central Coastage. So it was a good opportunity for us to help them both out and give our time, the players, and they do a good job embracing the event, helping out, volunteering. And I think it's just a very worthwhile cause.
Yeah, well said. For more information, fans can support. And it's Saturday, September 16th. So coming up here in about a week and a half, it's the Central Coast Ride and Rally to defeat ALS. Secure.alsagoldenwest.org for more information. Coaches, as we kind of shift gears back to what we'll see on the field with the two ranked opponents coming to town this week, it's kind of crazy how fast the non-conference schedule always moves by, because you look at the calendar, and it is at the end of this month that you will play your first Big West match. Cal State Fullerton comes to town on Thursday, September 28th. That's part of a two-match homestand to open up the Big West schedule. Before then, you've got 5 more pre-Big West matches to get you ready for the conference gauntlet. What strides and what areas would you like to see this team improve in before you get to the Big West and try and defend your conference title from a year ago?
Well, I mean, we need to be a little better in the attacking third. And actually, the Big West, we open up Big West at Santa Barbara next Thursday. It's just
that's right. That is a conference match.
Yeah, so it's just the way the conference season got scheduled. So we have a couple non-conference games after Santa Barbara before we host Fullerton. But so going into the Santa Barbara game, we need to be very solid defensively, which I feel like we're pretty close to that. And then we need to be better with finishing our chances in the attacking third. So, we have 2 very, very good opponents coming in Thursday and Sunday, and hopefully we can accomplish some of that against some of the top teams in the country.
Now, you're looking at a crazy next couple of weeks when you throw in the fact that match on the road at Santa Barbara will count towards the Big West standing. So a week from Gonzaga with a match against the top 10 Santa Clara team in between time before you get to that Gaucho match to open up a Big West conference play. Last thing for you, coaches, as you get ready for the conference schedule rapidly approaching and these ranked opponents, what's the biggest key in kind of keeping your team focused on each match, one at a time and not looking ahead, right? I mean, it's hard to look ahead when you're facing a ranked opponent just about every day on the schedule, as you will be these next couple of weeks. But how do you kind of keep the main thing here for this group and kind of take it game by game, practice by practice, day by day?
Well, it's in our motto is actually be your best self. So every day, can you be a little better than you were the day before? And so we're really looking at every game as an opportunity to can we get closer to a perfect game? And the results will come, but we're really looking to be perfect. Can we hold the ball long periods of time? And really, the definition for perfect game that I gave the team was the only time the other team touches the ball is when they pull it out of the back of the net to kick off. And the score of that game is 90-0. So that's what we're after. So we're chasing the perfect game.
So 90-0. That's what we're looking for as the Mustangs open up the home schedule. 23rd ranked Gonzaga on Thursday, part of ALS Awareness Day. And then it's Kids Day on Sunday when 8th ranked Santa Clara comes to town. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Really looking forward to watching you guys at home for the first time in some real action here this week against some really good competition. And we wish you the best of luck moving forward.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Always great to catch up with Alex Crozier. 32 years in that head seat of Cal Poly women's soccer, aging like fine wine. I mean, they have just been terrific the last handful of campaigns, winning the Big West last year. I know they've got some unfinished business to try and win the conference tournament this year to get that bid into the NCAA tournament. But first things first, I mean, you want to see some good college soccer, it's right here in your backyard in San Luis Obispo. It's 23rd ranked Gonzaga coming to town for the opener, and then 8th ranked Santa Clara on what should be a gorgeous Sunday at high noon. As always, so happy to bring you more content here, Cal Poly Athletics on the YouTube channel and also streaming audio only on art19.com. Stay with us. We will keep the content coming. Cal Poly women's volleyball will open up their home schedule next week. We'll be sure to chat with a member of their coaching staff or their roster to get you ready to expect great things from that program inside the Mott Athletic Center this fall and beyond. I'm Chris Sylvester. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of the Mustang Insider.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield's presentation on the Cal Poly Sports Network.